Hola a todos. Bienvenidos al podcast de los pintores, en donde estaremos hablando de los desafíos que pasamos como una compañía hispana en la industria de la pintura. En la industria de la pintura.
Los pintores. Los pintores. Los pintores. Los pintores. Los pintores.
Oh, ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Yo soy Juan
Y José,
y José. Nosotros somos los pintores.
y hoy tenemos una invitada especial. Ah, Su nombre es Brittany Gonzalez y es del área de Phoenix, Arizona.
Ujú. Pues antes, para empezar, we're gonna let you start. We want to hear a little bit about you, Brittany. First of all, can you tell us your name, where you guys located, the name of your company, and just a little bit about you?
Yeah. So first off, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm really excited to be on your guys'
Cool.
podcast. My name's Brittany Gonzalez. I'm the owner of Master Hands Painting Services. We're located in Glendale, Arizona, and we've been in business since 1995. I've been the owner of Master Hands since 2021 after my dad passed away from COVID. So we've been a family of painting for about 3 generations now. We just take a lot of pride in what we do, and we've really built up a good reputation where we're at. So we're excited to be here and excited to get to network with other painters.
Awesome.
Great.
You know, first of all, we heard this, when we first met you, and really sorry about your dad, and so one of the things that really intrigued us and we wanted to have you here with us is, you're a very young person, to jump into a position. And I know that your dad used to run the business. And what I've noticed is you're doing so many great things now to take, the business to the next level. And to me, that's just very admirable. So will you tell us a little bit of what you're doing and what you've been doing a little different?
Yeah, thank you. So I think it's a really cool opportunity that I have, and that's why I couldn't just pass it up. It's definitely an unfamiliar zone for me as far as being in the painting industry and running a whole business like this. But I used to work for Sherwin-Williams in the past, so I had a little bit of that background knowledge on the paint products, and that really gave me some confidence there. And just being able to put the second generation touch on our business and update it with newer ideas that can make things move more efficiently has really been something that I'm working towards. So we're kind of working on creating different systems that make it easier for us to scale, trying to kind of get out of that hamster wheel and not do everything on my own. And that's really helped us as we're growing to not reach capacity in a lot of areas. just hiring more painters, doing more marketing, a lot more social media stuff than we're used to in the past. So that's been a really good way for us to be relevant and get different attention from different audiences. We're also on a TV show on ABC 15, and we've been on that for quite a while. So that's something else that I've got thrown into as well. My dad used to be on there and joke with me like, "Oh, I'll put you on," and I never wanted to do it. So now I'm doing it just because. So that's called The Home Hunter on ABC 15, and that's a really good opportunity where we get a lot of work as well. So those are some of the things we've been up to, just trying to get new updated ideas as far as like social media. We now offer financing, just a lot more electronic automation and stuff like that to help us with our communication. So those are some things that we've been implementing.
Wow, you truly are just taking this to the next level.
Thank you.
Awesome. So will you tell us a little bit more about, I mean, you're the first person that we have here that really is doing all these social media and advertising and marketing. And let me tell you, I've seen I see you all over, the social media, and I just admire it because, you seem to be ahead of a lot of people like us. So what is this show about, or like what exactly is about for people who are not in your area?
Yeah, the Home Hunter the Home Hunter 4.0 on ABC.
So the Home Hunter is the show name, and then the Home Hunter 4.0 is the online marketing that I do through that same company. So they basically email blast the episodes or different videos that I record in studio, and they can send those out to potential clients, or they have it on their website as well. So the show, The Home Hunter, it's on weekly every Sunday in Arizona at 9 a.m. on ABC 15. They've been on air for about over 40 years, I think 40 years this year. So they basically interview different contractors throughout the Valley of Arizona, and they also interview real estate owners or real estate salespeople. New build communities, for example, will have a spot on the show. So it's 2-minute segments where we get to kind of do a commercial, if you will, about our business, and just review what it is that we do, if we have a special going on. And typically the host and the owner of the show, they'll test out the contractors that they have on the show to see how their work is before they allow them to be on the show. There's only one allowed per trade, so we've been the only painter on there for probably about 10 years now.
Wow.
So that's been a really good opportunity, and that's why I also didn't want to get off of it just because I'm shy, because then another painter would get on there and I wouldn't be able to get back on. So I just had to wing it.
Well, God, let me tell you, you carry yourself extremely
Really
well. So
now your dad is the one that started on this show, right?
Yep. Yeah. So we actually have a really good connection with the host. It was originally owned by the mother, and then the daughter now is an owner as well, and she's the new host. So they're second generation. We do painting for the mother, the daughter, their son, people in the production. So we paint for all of them. We actually do them by the trade too. So we can just trade and barter off for the marketing. We paint, and then they trade us to be on the show. So it works out for everybody in the long run.
That's really great marketing. The way you're doing it, yeah, definitely taking it to the next level.
Thank you.
So,
yeah, that's also available on YouTube too. So if people aren't local, they can check it out on YouTube. I believe it's under Home Hunter TV. And they have the full episodes on there. And then typically we'll take a clip of ours and we add that onto our own Instagram at Master Hands Painting. So you can check out some of our clips from the episodes as they're airing.
Awesome. And then we'll try to put the link here after when we put on the episode. But I think, I mean, we can talk about a lot of things, and then every guest that we have here, we all have our very unique way of doing business and little niches, right? So I think for you, I mean, from what I'm hearing, your advertisement and marketing is just it's very strong, and because it's so hard sometimes to actually find your way. Some people find it by doing the work, some people
Work
doing
them out.
certain things, but you doing that marketing, do you really feel that that's one of your strengths, or is that something that is really helping your business grow? Or
Yeah.
what do you?
So one thing that I've really learned, and I would give the credit to this business coaching that I'm in, Menace in Business, is that you
Okay.
want to be doing, or you want to look at the task that you're doing and see what is a $20 per hour task that you can give somebody else to do. So typically as a business owner, the things you really want to focus on are sales and marketing. So I've really been trying to focus on those areas, and other areas I don't want to step in and start painting or drywalling, even though I'm pretty sure I can do a great job.
Yeah.
I could pay somebody else to do that while I'm doing these other things that really move mountains in my business. So just being the face of my business and putting myself out there, making videos, getting these banners and stuff like
Yeah,
these I
of
have
course.
behind me. These are just extras that I do to get attention. And it really works well for us. I have a business degree in small business management,
Oh,
so I've learned a
nice.
little bit about marketing and budgeting for all of that type of stuff. Sometimes the budget doesn't even make sense, and I just throw my wallet over the fence, and it usually all comes back. So another marketing thing that we do that's really successful for us is we're in a magazine in a community that's nearby. And we've been in that for at least 10 years as well. So some of these things I just had already in place and haven't turned off. But I would say when I first took ownership of the business, I would look at some of these expenses like, are these necessary? Should I turn off this magazine, or should I do this and that? And I'm really thankful in the long run that I haven't, because I definitely see the return on the investment.
That's great.
That's actually so great. And I know that we're gonna have a lot of questions about this because as painters, we don't really see, we're like, you're talking about all this marketing and all this just relates to numbers to most painters, right?
Mhm.
Just like you said in the beginning, like, do we really need this? I mean, from what I hear from you, I mean, you're doing extremely well, and it's mainly because of these things.
And it's
So
investing.
that's investing. So it's so great that we can talk about this and how you brought that. Well, you already had that guidance in the business, but now you're taking it and following it through. I think
Mhm.
it's really what is helping. So it is so great, I think, for all of our audiences and all the painters to hear this because I don't, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I don't know what kind of percentage you're spending on marketing. But for a lot of people, this may be a lot to take on.
Right. Yeah, I don't have an exact percentage, unfortunately, on all of my numbers
No,
and
that's
how
good.
I budgeted it exactly. But the way I look at it and how I've been taught is like it's like a system or like a recipe. So if you're trying to double your revenue for the year, you're gonna have to double something in that recipe to actually get what you're looking to make. So if you want to grow, your expenses are also going to grow, and including the marketing that you have to put in. So if you're trying to double up on what you're making, you have to put in twice as much to get that. You can't put in nothing and expect something to grow. So that's something that I've just kind of had confidence in myself as I'm investing that I can make it double, or something like
Yeah.
that.
And that's what we always encourage everybody, to invest in their business, right? In this case,
Mhm.
marketing it's pretty powerful.
Right.
Another thing along with marketing, I see on your social media page, um, you do quite a bit of a wide range of services. Do
Mhm.
you think that has an advantage, over the competition, or at least in your area for yourself?
Definitely. Yeah, and I've actually been in the process of expanding the services that I'm able to offer because I see that effect. People really love the idea of a one-stop shop, if you
Right.
will. So I offer drywall and stucco repairs, and we do painting. There's a lot of other repairs as I'm on job sites that I see people need, like roof repairs, or they might need like a wall replaced or a new gate or something installed, maybe a light fixture replaced. And I have handyman available for all of those things. So when I can sub those things out to people, it really is an advantage for the client to not have to meet with a lot of different contractors and know that they can get everything done kind of together. So that way they don't like go change the doorknob right after we just painted the door and now they need to repaint the door or something like that. And because of that, I'm in the process of actually getting my general contractor's license. So
Nice.
I just started that schooling about 2 days ago, and I'm really excited
Congrats.
for the doors
Congrats.
that's going to open up.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank
God,
you.
See,
you're a
you're very
true
impressive.
entrepreneur.
Thank you.
Nice. That's awesome. See, and
Yeah.
it is so great to hear that. I mean, this is how this is it's the mindset, that you have, and so thankfully you had such a great foundation that now
Mhm.
you are seeing all the needs and you're going after those. For us that we started in the trade as painters, we come out there and we're like, but how can I do that? I still say that I'm a painter at heart, but then you get to the
Mhm.
point where like we're not a painter anymore. We're not painters anymore.
Right.
And it is so hard and we want to be in front of most of the audience are, painters are getting started or trying to get out of that, the rat race. And that's
Mhm.
what you need to understand, that we are not painters anymore. We are business owners, we are entrepreneurs. We have to change our mindset. We have to learn different venues, just how we learn how to paint a door. Now we have to understand and learn how to manage our business. And
Right.
I really admire you taking the time and the money, especially that, to find a mentor, to hire a coach, because that's a lot of money to
So
pay.
Yep.
one question is, when did you hire your business coach, or how long ago are you?
So I started business coaching in the end of July, so basically August of 2022. So it's been a little under a year, and it honestly has changed like my whole entire life, and how I operate my business and just my mindset. Since then, I've done way more marketing. I've got all these banners. I have giant A-frame signs. I put vehicle wraps on all my vehicles. I
Branding.
started heavily branding on social media. I did a challenge where I posted videos every single day on social media for 100 days. And that really got the ball rolling on my social media. Was following a lot of people just trying to get followers back, but specifically in Arizona, so they're potential clients. And then I actually started targeting painters because I love how you guys really have like this community of painters, and I like that idea. And I've been getting a lot of really good feedback. A lot of people have asked me to be on their podcast or just cheering me on from all over. So I love that support and that community feel. So those are different things that I've done with the business coaching that I probably wouldn't have considered before. But being able to see people who've already done things and their success in it, you can really just copy that because you know it's going to work and it's comparable with a lot of different businesses. So they kind of teach us like to work on your business instead of in your
That's
business. So
correct.
there's a lot of things that I was guilty of being like a solopreneur. I have at least 5 painters and then different subs that I use for different things, but I was driving equipment every single day to and from the job, ordering all the paint, getting the ladders, getting all the supplies, doing all the estimates, taking all the phone calls, and just doing
Wow.
everything, accounts receivable, you name it, I was doing it, just not painting it. And it was a capacity for me that I couldn't do anything else. I was stuck in the hamster wheel kind of thing, like you would say.
Yeah.
So that was one of my challenges, but with the business coaching, they've kind of laid it all out on paper and was just like, you're not going to grow if you stay doing all of these things.
Wearing all the hats.
So yeah, so I got like GPS and tracking stuff on my van so I can feel
Nice.
comfortable and get past different fears of letting people drive my vehicles. So I've done that. I have an assistant now answering my phones and helping me with invoicing, learning how to do estimates with me. So just a lot of these things that I couldn't keep doing by myself, or if I wanted to grow, I couldn't grow by myself. I've learned to delegate out a lot more and stop trying to do everything. And that's really helped me grow to where now I can have 3, 4 jobs going at once instead of just one or two. And we've been able to reach a lot better numbers that way.
Man, you're making me you're giving me the chills right now. That's amazing to hear, because I mean, we've been in business for such a long time, and we've struggled for so long. And that's one of the main reasons why we're doing this, why we have these podcasts, because we were in that hole for so long, and a lot of times it's ourselves, that really limit us from going ahead and moving ahead,
Right.
and because of your background and being around the trades and, working for Sherwin Williams and having this degree, you can actually come here and implement those things, but for us that we don't have that background, but hearing how you're doing it, it really triggers something inside of us that says like, wow, I think I can do that. And all it takes sometimes is do one thing, just pick one thing. And we say, pick one thing in your business and work on it. And once you see results, then it just triggers everything else. And you're like, oh God, if I can do this, then now I can do the next.
Like one step at a time.
One step at a time. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves either. But from you, it's been a couple of years, of just basically, you've basically have a target and you've been able to get focused, get on it, and move ahead, right?
I would say that when you're trying out different things and you achieve different goals that you have, it really increases your confidence. And that's what just gets you that momentum to keep going. So there's been times where I wasn't this confident or I was scared to make a small investment. But once you start seeing profits in different areas, you're like, okay, that's fine. These numbers, the numbers or the problems don't seem as big once you get bigger yourself. So those are things to kind of consider. You can't have $1 million goals and then like really stress hard about $1,000 problem that pops up.
That's right.
Because that's the wrong mindset. So that's kind of been one thing that helps me just refocus when I feel that I'm stuck in a problem. Another thing too is I have this saying where it's like, my problems are a privilege. So if I have a problem like today, for example, I'm trying to juggle like 3 different jobs and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy doesn't have a ladder there and I have to scramble to get it there and I only have 1 van and 1 truck and I'm trying to juggle things. But that's a blessing to have 3 jobs going at once and to worry
That's
about
right.
that instead of having my guys sit at home. So when you're scaling and going through those pain points, like look at it as like, man, I wasn't there last year, or
Yes.
or another painter wants to be there.
Good problems to
And
have.
yeah, exactly. And if you just look at other painters, like I know there's bigger and cooler painters than me doing crazy
Nah, I don't
numbers and
think
stuff.
I
I
don't think
find
bigger
that hard
painters
to
ain't cooler. I don't think so.
I
Yeah,
find that hard to
thank you guys.
believe. Yeah.
Like,
But
yeah, you don't
one
want to be
thing
the
that
biggest one in the room.
one thing that I noticed last year when we met in Phoenix, there's a lot of young painters over there. I remember there was a painter who started like he said like a month ago, right? Back
Mhm.
then. So I'm sure you have, a lot of young
A new
business
generation,
owners, new generation. So which in a way it's good, but again, you're taking your step up and separating yourself from the competition.
Yeah, I would say it's very competitive over here. There's a lot of painters out here. One of my struggles, I guess, is or just like a nuisance to me is when I see that there's a lot of poor regulation and a lot of unlicensed contractors. So I just been big on trying to educate my clients on the difference and the benefit of using someone who is licensed and how that protects them and stuff like that. But something I've just kind of had to get over and realize it's not really my fight to fight just
No,
because there's too
exactly.
many, very oversaturated, and you just have to realize how you can present your value over others.
But I think that's the main thing. You cannot change everyone else. You cannot change the industry on your own. But you can do is start on your own.
Right,
Separate yourself and your company from the rest, and then become one of the best. For the best at
right.
what you do.
See, I
You know.
think with all the marketing that you do, I think if I'm one of your clients, I'm gonna feel better, going with you that
Mhm.
someone else that is gonna be maybe way cheaper. But
Credibility.
I already know you. I seen you on TV. I seen you on social media. You're everywhere. So guess what?
We that's something that we talk when we had when we have our presentations, and it's something that we show up to a job site sometimes and they're like, oh hey, I seen you, oh I seen this finish, or they know our guys, and just because they've seen them on social media, And so it just
Right.
makes them already more comfortable, as opposed to you showing up to a house that they're like, they don't know who are they expecting, they don't know what this guy looks like. They already know. They seem like they've seen him so many times, and we try to be funny too on our things, so they can see our
They're
personal
humans.
side, you know, not just someone that wants to take my money, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, you really want to focus on building relationships instead of just building clients. And they literally always repeat and come back. I have a lot of clients that are repeat clients of my dad's, and every time I go do an estimate and have to tell them like, hey, I'm the new owner and my dad had passed away, and it's like they're heartbroken and they're like, oh, he was like my best friend and he was so nice when he painted my house. So just building those relationships with people, like they'll remember you and they feel like they have to be loyal to you because of the relationship that you established. So that's one thing that's really helped us over time is just having integrity, kind of treating people like family and just creating a good bond with our clients.
Okay.
Are you
Oh,
doing anything like specific to try to retain these clients, or just
Yeah,
basically?
so we do something that's really cool, that's a little bit different. It's a program called Send Out Cards.
Mhm.
So basically I have a subscription for about $40 a month. I can get 20 cards, and I can customize them online or on an app.
Mhm.
So for example, I had a client that he's a repeat client of ours. We painted his house quite a few times. And I sent him a card where it was a picture of my dad painting in his garage and was like, hey, just wanted to share this memory with you. Looking forward to sharing more memories over the years. And I
that's
Wow.
sent
nice.
that card with like a box of cookies because you can attach like gifts and stuff on that app.
Wow.
And with that, he automatically, within like less than a couple days, sent me a referral for a lady who had like a $7 million home. And then she gave me a referral for a guy who was a property manager who manages like multiple homes of that complexity. So it really does return if you do something different that sets you apart from the rest. You don't want all of your marketing to be all about you. You want to make it about the client because
The
they're going to be
client.
like, what the heck? The painter just sent me this picture from my house from 2001. How did they get this or something?
Right,
Along
But
with
exactly.
some
just
cookies,
showing,
right?
right? Yeah. So cookies, honestly, like crumble cookies or something. I don't know if you guys have that where you are, but
Yeah.
they're very easy. You can order on the app and add a little sticker that says thank you with a little note.
And how do you get this app for, we don't know, and for
Yeah,
anybody that
honestly,
doesn't
I'm
know,
paying attention here.
yeah, I'm
I
taking
can
my
I
notes.
can send you guys a link to add on there. I used to
Okay,
be an
we'll add it
affiliate.
here. Hmm.
I'm no longer an affiliate just because I wasn't promoting it very often or like getting anything from it. But overall, the subscription has done really well for me as far as sending out cards to people. We use it after events too. So for example, if I do like a home and garden show, and I get a lot of leads there, then I'll follow up with people. And then I also send them a card, a picture of us at the home show saying like, hey, it was great to connect with you here. Look forward to your estimate. And things like that really catch their attention.
But see, I mean, to me, it's just impressive, everything that you do. And this is something that I really would like to focus and talk about a little bit, right? Is how much you do. So a lot of us, a lot of painters, they're like, well, I did my job, I did well, I did the best job I could. And yeah, but that's not it,
Following up, it's
you know
very
how much
important.
you're doing so much, behind closed doors, that when you get to that paint, I mean, to do the painting, that's the cherry on the top. But at the
Yeah,
end of the day, it's all the legwork you're doing behind it. It takes so much more than just doing a nice paint job. And that's
right,
where I'm getting. And I really want to emphasize that on on painters to look at those things. How can you be different? How can you do something different? I mean, from, like you're saying, just sending those cars, you preparing yourself, you being all over the place, that is going to guarantee you a place that is not going to guarantee your neighbor or your competitor, because that guy is just waiting on the client that is going to call, says, I need to paint my garage. He's going to go paint
right,
his garage and then never communicate with that client again. But you're not doing that. You're building a relationship and building a value. with them as well.
Right. Yeah, I would say if someone is in that situation right now where they feel they're stuck, like stuck on the brush is what they would kind of say as painting and painters. Um, try to step away as much as you can, or even just take baby steps to step away as you're delegating things out with other painters you have to work with. Even if it's just like setting up 1 day or 2 days a week where you refuse to paint and you go work on your business instead of in your business. You're never gonna step away unless you make that time to do it. It's not comfortable to be like, oh, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna trust so and so to do it.
Yeah,
But they're gonna probably do it at least like 80% as well as you, and you're never gonna know until you try. And there's those gaps that you can kind of fix after as you're learning. But if you
you
don't
got
step
in
away,
front of us. I was
yeah,
gonna ask that question. What kind of, what can you tell someone who's getting started, or someone that needs to do this thing on their business? And that's exactly what you're
Yeah,
saying right
what's your
now.
best advice?
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, like if you just, even if it's just 1 day, let's say like every Friday or every Monday, you're focused on your books and you're checking your accounts receivable, accounts payable, you're doing marketing, you know. Once you do that and then you look at those days and you see how productive those were and how many bigger things you were moving around in your business compared to just painting, you might take more of those days to focus on that and then step away
Definitely.
from the brush more and more, because you'll see that you have more potential to be doing those other things to grow your business instead of just doing all the work. And that's not to discredit painters at all, because my painters are awesome. They do so much for
Yes.
me, and for our business. They represent us and their work and their quality. So that's not a discredit to the labor at all, but just I personally would not be able to do both, and you shouldn't have that expectation on yourself. Um, to be able to execute both of them the way you want, you're gonna have to choose one or the other eventually, and just really delegate that time to what you're choosing to do for that day.
Well,
Like
and I
right now,
think
I'm not
go ahead.
focused on certain things. I'm really focused on this podcast. I'm not answering my phone right
Thank
now.
you.
Like
Thank you. We
I'm
appreciate that.
consistent. Yeah. And if you don't make that time, you're not going to have opportunities to be on a podcast like this. You have
You
to
know what? Let me tell you then this is gonna be a challenge for our listeners and whoever for our like 5 listeners, okay? We want to challenge you. And even in español, queremos que se
Exactly.
tomen un día o se tomen un tiempo en la semana de quitarse de la brocha del trabajo y mirar qué pueden mejorar en su negocio un día a la semana. Y enseguida, we would be listening to if they can tell us if they're doing it, how's it going for them? Because just like you said, if we take this little challenge and we follow through, it might just get us to the place that we thought that we can't get, and just something so small triggers something in our mind that says like, well, wow, I can do it. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
So just happen. So this will be our challenge. Let's see if
Yo,
anyone can do it. Let's
yo
do
les
it.
voy a decir el challenge. You mentioned earlier about the posting for 100 days, right? Every day.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna take that challenge
Uh-oh.
for
I can
100
I
days.
can I can send you the challenge. So that challenge was actually pretty tough. That was made by my business coaches, Menace in Business, and it's called
Mhm.
the M100 challenge.
Mm.
Okay,
So
no,
there's
send it
quite
over.
a
We
few
would
Yeah,
love to
that
please.
we
share it
did.
with people.
It's really deep, and that really helped me grow my business and myself overall. So aside from posting a video every day, we had to do a lot of different things. We had to work out every day. We had to drink a gallon of water every day.
Huh.
Post a video about our business every day. There
Record.
was a lot of different steps. And that was one.
Can we do it combined? Can
No.
he do
Yeah.
one thing and I can
No,
do
no,
the
no,
other
no,
one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no.
Since we're business
Oh,
partners here.
I take half a
yeah. It
gallon, he
was
takes half a
tough.
gallon.
No, yeah, no cheating.
No
But honestly, that's really good too, because I think as business owners, we have to admit, we put ourselves last a lot of times and put our business first, and we don't do a lot of things we need to for ourselves. So being able to be like, well, I'm gonna do this video every day for my business, but I'm also gonna work out and I'm also gonna make sure I drink water and I'm not eating fast food burritos every day and stuff. Like you wanna not only grow yourself, or not only grow your business, but grow yourself and focus on those things too.
Brittany, you're putting a lot of challenges on us.
God, I'm telling you, it's and God, you're in such a in such a space right now that a lot of us,
It's an inspiration.
yeah, you know, we can't even, we try to put ourselves in that place, and just like you say, it is a challenge. It's just so huge that it's a mental thing where we have to be ready mentally to do this. You know, you can, we can have all the answers in front of us, but if we don't take the time to really see inside of us and prepare ourselves for that, then we can't do it. You know, and it's
Right.
not just painting, because at the end of the day, painting is just something that we do. You know, so
Mhm.
thank you. I think this is just God,
Yeah.
man, you're making me think here.
Thank you. It's like challenges.
Challenges.
Challenge. Talk about
Okay, so
challenges.
he's accepting that challenge.
I
I
got
will
that
be the
one.
judge.
I'm
So let me
excited.
tell
I
you
We'll,
something.
we'll,
watched
we'll keep
your
you we'll
videos.
keep you posted on our
We
challenges.
were
Okay.
so we were just talking about, you know, what challenges are you facing right now in your business?
I would say right now, my main easiest way to describe my challenges are just reaching different capacities. So as we're growing, we're reaching different points where we can't do more jobs than we're already doing, or we can't based on the painters we have or based on the amount of tools we have. So then I catch myself trying to hire more, or I've been looking into getting another van, different things like that to get past those capacities. Having an assistant has really helped me a lot with being able to answer my phone because I feel guilty if I don't do a certain step, but you can't do everything all at once. So that's just been a challenge is finding the capacities and then overcoming them instead of just staying in that position. So that's kind of been one thing I'm working on.
Nice. You know, I was just listening to a book. Have you ever heard is it Traction?
Correction. Yes.
Traction, the book Traction?
Uh-uh.
No?
But
God,
I'll write it down.
Traction, you got to listen to this book. And basically there it just talks about, you know, we got to reach our ceilings. And if we're not reaching our ceilings all the time, then we're not growing.
Exactly.
And honestly, we were just at the expo for PCA, and Chris Elliott, right?
Yeah, Chris Elliott.
Chris Elliott put on a show, or I mean a presentation about this book, but the way he breaks it down, God, it's mind blowing. It's just basically us understanding that we need to reach these tops, and then that is going to take us to the next step and just keep going. And but we keep building the systems that are going to get us there.
Right.
So that's why I just came to my mind.
So we'll add a link to the
Yeah,
to the
we'll add a
book
link to that
Traction by
book.
Gino Wickman. No, on the podcast.
You get, yeah, you have to listen to this book. I understand it's just it helps a lot. Before we, you know, went through all this stuff here, I wanted to ask you something. You know, any
Talk about
challenges?
challenges,
Talk
right?
about challenges. Like, what do you think? Like, is there a challenge for you, or has it been for you being, you know, being in such a dominant, men dominant, you know, trade and industry? You know, being a woman yourself. How does that work or doesn't work for you?
So in the beginning, I thought it would be very hard because I'm a woman and would kind of look at it as a challenge. But now I see that I have actually a lot of advantages over you guys, no offense, and a lot of different
Nice. No, that's great to
I like
understand
that.
that.
So as far as like details, I'm very detail oriented. I do all the quality control and kind of make sure that everything is really up to our standard. And I think the clients really love that idea. Even working with like general contractors and stuff, they're just like so excited that a girl's gonna come and judge all the work and make sure it's done right. So that's
Nice.
kind of an advantage of for me. And then just like organization skills and customer communication and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of women do a lot of sales and different things. So I kind of have that positive part going for me. And then just being the face of the business and being a woman kind of helps get a lot of attention. So I'm just using it to my advantage. In the beginning, I was a little bit cautious because I'm around a lot of men. So I didn't want to be looked at like, oh, just this bimbo pretty girl here at the job site. She doesn't know what she's talking about. So I kind of would just like always come like a scrub, like some sweatpants and a sweater and just like, hey, I'm here to run the job. I didn't want to be a distraction, but now I realize like if I get dressed up and try to be cute, like it gets a
There
lot
you
of attention
go.
for my business that a lot of
You
people
mean
can't
business.
really do. Yeah. So being female owned, and just kind of promoting that, it's actually gotten me a lot of business. People, I go through an estimate, and before I've even given them price, they're like, "Well, when can I book? I want to book with you, or we offer different services." They might have someone already doing that, and they'll be like, "Well, actually, I want to switch over to you though, because you're female owned. I already have this and that, but I want you to do it instead." So that's been really something that's really cool to see the support and that people actually love it. In the beginning, I thought, oh, well, I can't lift all the paint or I can't lift the sprayer. That those are little challenges I have, but then
Hmm.
I kind of overcome it and I'm like, okay, I can lift a 5 of paint. I'm not that weak and I can lift the ladder. I'm still working on being able to lift the sprayers, but instead of focusing on how do I do these things, it's like who can do these things for me. So I
Oh,
hire guys to move the heavy stuff for me. And I
That's
do
exactly. See,
right.
I like that. See, it's like if you can't do it, you're gonna hire the right person to do it, right? To do it for
yeah.
you, and that's
Uh-huh.
in
So
business.
instead of
That's a
how,
mentality.
yeah, instead of how, there's a book, I haven't read it yet, but just the saying alone has helped me get a lot past a lot of things. It's not how, it's who. So
Mm.
instead of trying to think, well, how can I lift this sprayer? I literally was looking into getting ramps on my van so I can load up my sprayers easier, or the power washers. And I'm
Mhm.
like, no, I just have another guy drive the van and go load it up himself.
That's
Instead of
right.
buying a $3,000 ramp, I just pay a guy to do it.
You're the brains of the operations. You're not the muscle, right?
Exactly.
There you
Muscles.
go.
It's okay.
But see, but it's so amazing that you're able to see that because that's
Mhm.
what it takes. That we go back to mindset, it's understanding your strengths, understanding what you need to do in order to build that business. So that is just like I said, you're ahead of the game. And that is something true. If we reach out to any female owned businesses, we've
Mhm.
been hearing that a lot more now. And it's great because we want the industry to be diverse. It's
Mhm.
this is not because you're a man, you can do the painting. No, I mean, we can all run a business. It doesn't
Right.
matter the gender or anything in specific.
Yeah, and
So
I
that
actually
that
just got a girl added onto my team as a painter too, so I'm excited to
nice.
start hiring more girls. I have an assistant, so we go do like estimates together and just
Oh,
seeing
nice.
like the two of us girls running things, it really gets people excited. And then when the job starts and there's a girl on the crew too, they just feel like, oh, someone's looking over these boys here, making sure they're clean and
Yeah,
stuff. We're
that
very
is
clean on our
great.
job sites, and that's one thing we get a lot of compliments for. I know construction can be really dirty and stuff like that, but like not on my job sites. We don't leave the trash everywhere. They don't
I
leave their
like that.
drinks and their food everywhere. One book, because I know in the questions you guys had sent over before was like, what book would I recommend or has
Yeah.
Yes.
worked for me? And I read a book called The Power of One More by Ed Milet.
Oh,
And
I
in
heard
that
that one.
book, some of my takeaways were that he goes above and beyond in everything that he does. So when you think that you're doing enough, or when you think you're clean enough, or when you think you've done enough with your customer service, um, do more. So when you think it's enough, it's not. And if you do a little bit more than what you thought was good, then you're just going to be above average. You're going to show you're going above and beyond. And when you do that with everything, you'll see it's like a compounding reaction where it's going to build up where oh, this person gave me a second call back and they followed up more than the other painter, or they cleaned their mess before every day before they left, and that made them customer more comfortable. Another takeaway from his book is that he tries to do 3 days in one day. So he splits up his day in three segments, and he'll basically refocus as he's getting into the different segments. So he'll have like a to-do list for his day, but instead of trying to finish that within the 24 hours, he'll do that within like the 8 hours. And then after that, he'll make time for something else, whether that's like do a whole bunch of work the first part of the day, and then in the middle of the day, you stop what you're doing, maybe go have lunch with your family and like do something for yourself. And then after that, you come home and you, I don't know, clean or do something. But just having your day segmented out and trying
Yes.
to like overachieve in every area, whether you're cramming something in half of your day or trying to do twice as much, you'll move faster and people will see you're going above and beyond and doing extra than the people around you. So that's been a really good takeaway for me as far as just being like an overachiever and how it'll benefit you.
Wow.
Very disciplined.
I'm telling you, there's gonna we start there. There's gonna be a lot of guys here, and hopefully ladies that are gonna be like, wow, I need to
The
start
the
following
the pressure
Brittany
is
because the
on,
pressure is
Brittany.
on. It's
Yeah.
just you are so ahead of the curve. You're it's so amazing to hear this, the circumstances, how you ended up in the business. We talk about how most painters never say, oh, hey, I want to be a painter when I grow up. Most of us just stumbled into this this industry, and that's the majority of us. I think one way or another we do, but it's so amazing to hear how you have been able to say, hey, this is what I got to do, and let me see how I can do the best. And I think you're doing just an amazing job at that. And you are going to be and are being
Definitely.
the inspiration for your group, and are going to be an inspiration for a lot of people, throughout the country, because what we've learned is that social media and being able to connect really gets us out there. And it's not that we're trying to work at every state, but it's just the community, the knowledge that we get from everyone. It makes us humble to understand how everyone has their own unique challenges, and so great to hear that. So we're kind of got to be conscious about our time. God, we can talk about, and
Oh
so
yeah.
every time we keep saying we're doing these things. Oh, before we go, you mentioned you actually starting a podcast yourself. Can you tell
Yeah,
us just real
so
quick about that?
yeah, so my podcast is called The Contractor Connections, and I've only done one episode so far, so that'll be on podcasted on Spotify here soon. So I'm excited for that. I'll send you guys the link as soon as
Yes, please.
possible. And then
Please.
I'd love to have you guys on our podcast as well, so that way we can kind of pick your brain and see all your experience and just share that with the world too.
That'll
Awesome.
be
No,
an
like I
honor
said,
to do
we
that.
definitely will. See, and this is how we're creating that, those relationships. That's how we're creating this network. That's how we talk about elevating our
The industry,
industry,
yeah.
So now this is how we are gonna do that. So thank you so much for you to do that. I guess we're talk about how can we, finish a podcast. It's it's hard, but for us, what we find out is just something. If there's something that you would like to say, to our audience, like something that you feel that you like to communicate, what would that be at this point?
Um, don't play small. Don't play small.
Ah,
Yeah, you gotta
go big
try.
or go home, right?
Yeah, go big or go home. Look at the people that are in your industry and what they're doing, and try to be kind of growing beyond that. Don't be stuck in the hamster wheel. If you're not getting any changes, then you probably need to change something. Otherwise, you're just going to be doing the same thing over and over. So just if you're unhappy where you're at, like don't play small and do big things to get big things.
Awesome. God, I mean, I
I
gotta
like
tell you,
that.
you're amazing. Thank you so much, Brittany, for being with us. Best of luck with your podcast. Best of luck with everything that you're doing. You're not gonna need it. You're just a very bright, smart young lady here, and we're definitely gonna be, following you close. Anything that we can help with, and I know we're gonna be here communicating. I definitely can't wait to hear the podcast, and we'll be seeing each other soon.
Well, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank you guys
Thank
Brittany.
you
so
so
much
much,
for your
Brittany.
time. Have a great
Enjoy
day.
your
Thank you
day.
for listening. Don't forget
Bye-bye.
to follow Master Hands Painting.
Oh, definitely. We
Yes,
definitely
got
will.
the link.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank
you.
you.
Good day.